Alright, what's up guys? NinjaDeathStrike here, bringing you another Pokemon TCG match. Today's match is just a quick little match I had trying out my Eels deck. At the time, I didn't have any Rayquazas. I've gotten some of the promo ones, just because I can't seem to pull any. I've opened like 200 packs of Dragons Exalted and gotten 0 Rayquaza EX, so just gave up and bought some of the promo ones. So anyhow, this is a Eels build without Rayquaza. It focuses more on Mewtwo and Zekrom with a few other tech attackers, but really it's just Mewtwo and Zekrom putting in some work. So my opponent Mulligans shows me an Aggron, which leads me to believe he is playing a mill deck. That's really the only thing you can do with Aggron. But this deck is a little interesting because he's got Durant too. And I haven't played against Mill in so long. I'm sure I make so many mistakes in this video. It's probably pretty bad. I benched that Dynamo, which I guess is not too bad, all things considered. I don't want to give him an option to Seeker, an option to just surprise KO my Zekrom with Aggron. Actually, I think Aggron's attack does 90 damage, so I figure I may as well go ahead and put some Eels on the bench, but I do Juniper there because I don't know why. Probably didn't need to do that. Don't have a supporter now, so I'm certainly not going to Juniper this turn, which is good. But I also don't have any energy, so we both kind of get off to a slow start. His only opening move is to Devour for 1. I decide that I probably don't want to evolve my Eels yet. Let's see what I decide to do. Yeah, I just pass. So he plays down an Aeron, passes again. This is an extremely exciting opening. Finally get another Lightning Energy, so I will be able to Outrage this turn. And actually haven't lost that much ground. Most of the cards in that discard pile are from my own Juniper. He's just been able to Devour for 1 each turn, which isn't too bad. And so here I'm going to Ultra Ball and actually grab another Electric. I guess it was thinning my deck because I wanted to increase the chances of hitting a supporter, but I'm also thinning my deck, which is how he wins. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess it's okay. I'm only taking 1 card out of the deck. And I am going to need a supporter in order to win. This hand is not doing me any favors. So he gets Topple over there and then Devours, so he actually gets 4 cards this turn. And Durant and Aggron are interesting together because they let you mill a lot of cards some turns, but they're kind of inconsistent. You know, without Sableye, there's only so many times you're going to be able to get Topple over off, and then Durant doesn't have Rotom, it doesn't have Twins, it doesn't have a lot of the stuff that it had last time that made it so annoying. So it's going to be hard to get those guys back. And it just seems like a deck that's really hard to keep in motion. So I get something there. It was an Ultra Ball, I guess. And maybe I got a supporter. But I did get an energy in the discard pile. And I Dynamotor onto Electric because I can't kill this Aggron. He's got 140 HP. I'd rather just put 20 on him now and then 20 later. But it might have been advantageous to attach there because he has Crushing Hammers, obviously. And at least he's only got 4 of those. There's no Junk Arm, there's no Sableye, so there's no way for him to get those back. And he flipped Tails on the last 2, I think, which is good for me. So he also is going to need a switch to get Aggron out of the active spot and get the Devour going, and there's no way for him to get a Topple over this turn. So he is going to be able to get a Durant up and Devour for 3 and devolve the Aggron, so that means next turn Aggron is definitely coming back if he gets a rare candy. That's a big if. He didn't evolve through Lairon, so he can't just slap the Aggron back down. He needs to get either a Lairon or another rare candy, which is going to make it a little harder for him. And he actually puts a bunch of energy in my discard pile, which is fine with me. That's going to let me Dynamotor onto my eels, and that way if they get catchered up, I can just retreat them and then Dynamotor back, and it's basically going to give me immunity from catcher, which is really good. I also have a couple switches in my hand, so if one of them gets catchered up before that happens, I should be able to get him out pretty easily. Turns out he does, in fact, have the rare candy, so he gets Aggron again, and now he's going through a lot of cards per turn. He hits 3 there, and then even though he's only able to devour for 2, that's 5 cards total, which is a lot. My deck is surprisingly thin pretty quickly, which I didn't really expect. I kind of expected this deck to just crap out and die on its own, but it seems to be working for him now, and that's bad for me, obviously. It looks like I forget to Dynamotor here. I'm going to drop another Zekrom. Dynamotor. Yes, okay, I remembered to Dynamotor, which is good. I can put that onto the other electric. There we go. And now if my Zekrom gets killed, I have another one ready to go. Don't really want to play Mewtwo down. He's not going to be that great against a deck that resists Psychic, and Thundurus is pretty much dead weight as well in this matchup. I don't know if I have Thundurus in this deck anymore or not. I have trouble having room for 2, and I feel like 1 is almost not worth it, so we'll see. But I'm going to start building up this second Zekrom in the back, because he does actually have the chance to take out my active Zekrom, and I don't want to be left without an attacker. I can't hit an Eviolite. I don't want to play another supporter, so I just end up putting myself at 120, and that's bad because apparently he has a Reshiram. Why? I don't know, but he does. So I'm going to check my discard, see what's in there. Don't know exactly what I was looking for, possibly Eviolite, but yeah, he can't attack this turn, so I just outrage him for 140. And now he pretty much has to attack Zekrom, or he's just going to steamroll the rest of his team. But my deck is getting very thin. I'm going to be down to 4 cards after this. 3, I guess, because he can't devour. You notice his hand's down to 0. He doesn't have a supporter. He's kind of just stuck. So he does take the opportunity to retreat into Aggron, which is a good move on his part. It's going to let him keep Durant alive, but in the end, it's just really not going to be enough. He needed to get a lot of stuff there, and his deck just ran out of steam, which seems like it would be very prone to do. It just seems a little overcomplicated. In the end, he can't get what he needs, and I'm going to take the win. But that was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I think I only had 3 cards left in my deck by the time I won, so 56 cards drawn, so I had 4 cards in my deck. Yeah, it turned out to be closer than I expected, but I don't really think the deck's that great. So anyhow, if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Check out my Facebook page if you haven't done that. There's a link in the description, and leave me a comment. Always like reading comments, and as always, I'll have more videos coming your way shortly. Thanks, guys.